Rufus Tang is one of the shareholders in Subco Berhad. He holds 5% of the share in the company. But unfortunately, the company has not made a profit or paid a dividend since 1996. Rufus attends Subco's annual general meeting (AGM), where he asks a number of questions about Subco's operations and criticizes the performance of the company's executive directors. After 45 minutes, the chairperson refuses to take further questions from Rufus.
Now the issue is whether the chairperson has right to refuse taking questions from shareholders. In general meeting, chairperson has wide powers in conducting the meeting. For example, the chairperson has power in deciding the order of proceedings and who should be allowed to speak and for how long. The Company Act 1965 does not regulate the conduct of companies' meetings in terms of the contents of the agenda or to the opportunity given to members to speak or raise questions. These are often left to commercial practice. However, the chairperson should actively encourage shareholders to raise questions, as it is one of the rights of shareholders to confront with the directors on the ordinary business of an annual general meeting relating to the financial performance of the company, the directors' report, auditors' report, declaration of dividends, the election of directors, and the appointment of auditors. The 1998 High-Level Finance Committee also recommended that the chairperson should actively encourage questions and provide reasonable time for discussion. In the case of John Jetstar Real Estate Private Limited and Robert R. Andrew A. Asia Private Limited, it was complained by the plaintiff that the chairman would not allow discussion on any motion other than a particular motion and also limited the time for discussion to 10 minutes for each member. The court held that although the chairman has rights to control a meeting, but this must always be subject to giving every participant a fair opportunity to exercise his or her right to speak. The court also stated that neither the chairman nor the meeting can by procedural resolutions to remove the members' statutory rights to have the business for which the meeting is convened fully and fairly discussed. Therefore, it can be concluded that although chairperson has powers to conduct a meeting, but he should always allow shareholders to exercise their right to speak or raise questions in meeting at reasonable time. Back to the situation just now, 45 minutes has been given to Rufus Tang to raise questions. By applying reasonable man test, 45 minutes is considered as reasonable time to discuss a motion in meeting. So, coupled with the power owned by the chairperson in meeting, therefore, the refusal of the chairperson to take further questions from Rufus Tang is allowed.
Now, let's look into the issue whether Rufus can seek any remedy under Company Act 1965 if the chairperson did violate his right when he refused to answer Rufus' question. While in Section 181, Subsection 1, Clause B, allows the court to provide a remedy to a member where the court finds that some act of the company has been done or is threatened, or that some resolution of the members, holders of debentures, or any class of them has been passed or is proposed which unfairly discriminates. So now, to determine whether there are operations by directors, the test most commonly applied under Section 181, Subsection 1, Clause A is whether there has been conduct which are burdensome, harsh and wrongful. This section also mentions the word disregard of the interest. For example, when the minority member has been excluded from participating in the management of the company while having reasonable expectation of continued participation in management, then the removal of the minority member is regarded as oppressive conduct. This situation illustrated in the case of Hawk and Dimmock. In the case of John J. Starr Real Estate Property Limited and Robert R. Andrew Property Limited, the court held that where board meetings or general meetings of a company are conducted in an unfair manner, this situation can constitute as oppression. Section 181 of Company Act 1965 allows the court to choose a remedies where the court finds that there has been oppression. Based on the provisions and the case stated before, as discussed in the first issue, since Rufus' rights were not violated, he is not entitled to seek any remedy under Company Act 1965.